Well, I'm hoping you'll talk about this and not also say it's disgusting. But two sisters, they can't produce children which are disabled, they're in love, and they're not harming anyone. So my question is, apart from saying it's disgusting, weird, and therefore wrong, can you give one good reason as to why two people who are in love and not harming people shouldn't be together? Just one good reason that's not, it's disgusting, just like people said against homosexuals.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very clever device to make it two sisters. I think that's brilliant. And I think that this beautifully points up the difference between absolutist morality, where you just say it's disgusting, the yuck factor, and utilitarian or consequentialist morality. I think you're absolutely right. I can see no reason at all why these two sisters shouldn't marry if they want to.
It's another great clip.
I suppose I think that stands. Yeah.
That's going to be great on YouTube, Richard.
We could make it better by just agreeing with him.
Well, one thing I would add here is that disgust as a moral emotion is obviously this is part of our evolutionary inheritance, but it is a very bad machine for producing moral wisdom. And what is disgusting in one context or in one cultural context is often not in another. And I think there is a truly universal way of solving the question of how to maximize human well-being. It's not even to say that there's only one right answer, but there's certainly wrong answers. There can be many right answers, and there's certainly many wrong answers. And they're wrong not just for you and me and everyone in this room, they're wrong for everybody. Cutting the head off your child is a bad way to raise that child to be a functional adult. And so that's wrong answer number one. But this issue of incest, in this case, this is a thought experiment that the psychologist Jonathan Haidt has used to great effect to produce a phenomenon that he calls moral dumbfounding, where he'll produce an example like that, and he'll ask people whether it's right or wrong, and they'll have a very strong disgust-based sense that it's wrong, but then when told to give a rationale for why it's wrong, they basically come up with this very lawyerly opinion that is just a kind of confabulation. It doesn't really intersect with any kind of moral philosophy. I think one other consequentialist point I would make is that in the local case, it might well be not wrong for two people who can't have kids and can't suffer in any way to be, prosecuting their taboo love for one another. But I think part of the consequences are just what happens to society, what happens to other relationships, what happens. You're in dialogue. You're not in a moral solitude usually with your behavior, and so another example is why when someone dies, why don't we just chuck their body in the garbage, right? So it's all the same to them. There's no one to suffer that desecration, but the point of treating a dead body well is because of all the good it does for the living. Right, the way it honors our relationship with the people we still love and have spent our lives connected to. So,
not just the people in their life, but that individual as well. This question's come up to me. Yeah. Sam and I advocate for very almost identical versions of consequentialism. If you live in a society where you know that there's a likelihood that your body's just going to be thrown in the trash, or that your organs are going to be farmed out, and this isn't what you want, you have a particular view, this diminishes the quality of your life while you're living. If you live in a society where you understand that we're going to respect the wishes of people after they're dead, this increases the well-being of your life while you're living. That is not inconsequential. That's something that you have to consider. It's not just about the other people in their life, it's about the quality of your life leading up to your death. If you were living in Logan's Run and you knew the secret, oh, sorry, spoiler, they're going to be killed. It would change how you lived those years prior to that. And we tend to, consequentialists come under fire by people who, from my point of view, seem to only be able to look at things myopically as, oh, this is how it affects me right now. And like in your example, I don't have any objection to your example, but I'm in agreement with Sam that there may be extenuating circumstances in the complexities of a society that might make it not a good idea.
And slippery slope arguments can be perfectly good as well. I think the argument against eating human roadkills would be where there's nobody to mourn them.
There's probably an argument against using the phrase even, I would think.
That, slippery slope, we have a very good taboo against cannibalism. In the case of the taboo against incest, I was about to say, I remember I stopped myself, maybe there's a slippery slope, but I can't actually think of it in that case. I can't think of this case of two sisters marrying, what the slippery slope would look like.
I think Matt just gave it. If behind every closed door there might be two sisters having sex, that would diminish our quality of life while alive.
I'm not quite sure that's what I said, but I'll go with it.